Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to this video where we're going to be talking about how we set up our foundations for shipping containers. And there are about a variety of different phases that we do on our shipping containers. Depends on the area that you live. Because if you're in really cold climates, you need to make sure that your foundation is below something called the frost line. Because the frost line is basically the area where, basically, say it's super cold up here and the frost is making its way down. You want to be below that frost line that is getting accumulated from up above. There's a lot more to it I could put in a video, another video, I guess, about frost lines, but I'm just trying to make this very simple and basic. If you call your local building uh, office or a building code enforcement officer, or just call your county or city and ask them for advice on what is the frost line in the area for a concrete foundation. They will let you know. So make sure that you put your footings, which is this right here. This footing will be below the frost line, and you'll have something called your foundation, which is your stem wall that will go up. And this either can be a column, and this is a column foundation that this could be, and then your pad could be on top of that column with an anchor bolt that can bolt the shipping container to this anchor bolt. And this bolt allows us to screw the container into the foundation to keep it from blowing away. Now, the next way we can do a foundation is just a simple pad with a footing here. And we've done a lot of these type of footings in Arizona, where we basically could make it about 12 inches deep by 12 inches wide. And then we have our number 4 rebar that goes along here with a wire mesh on the top. Now, when we do this, this is good for warmer climates that we've done in Arizona, Southern California. We've even done some of these in Texas. These are really good foundations for those areas. And I recommend for a shipping container, you should have this around the full perimeter of the shipping container. So all the way around is going to be 12-inch wide footing. And then you only need this to be 4 inches in the middle with a wire mesh. So, because you don't want to waste all that money putting 12 inches of concrete all over the middle of your pad, because there's no weight going to be setting on that. Most of the weight for the shipping container is going to be in the center of the long part of the container and on all 4 corners. Um, and so that's another way you can do it, is just a pad with a 12-inch footing. And this is actually showing another example right here. Um, Now, this is a traditional way for an actual house. Generally, most people prefer to, or most counties and cities, if you're going to build it as a permanent dwelling or a house, a lot of them like to do these stem walls. And the stem walls don't have to be that deep. They basically imagine the stem wall like this. On a stem wall foundation, you start with a wide footing on the bottom below the frost line, and maybe you only need to go 24 inches up on this wall here, or maybe you need to go 30 inches up, or 46 inches up, or 48 inches. It really depends. And basically, it just really depends on what the frost line is in your area. So imagine this stem wall as your column, but these are just really long columns now. They're going all the way around to hold the walls of your entire house. Now, what happens for a shipping container, your stem wall will just be a big, giant rectangular space. And what people like about stem walls is that you have this big crawl space underneath, and you can store a lot of belongings or utilities or anything like that. Or some of my customers like to go all 8 feet into the ground so they can have another room under their container, so you can double the square footage. And we can do a quote for you on that if you wanted us to. So those are some of the foundations. Now, there's another strange foundation that I'd like to share with you called stop digging. And this one is very unique, where they have these posts. That's a blurry picture. If you see, this is a screw column. You see this right here? And this actually, they use a special tool to screw the column into the ground, deep, deep into the ground. So it's not just this deep, but it's super deep. And I have one customer, we did about, I think it was 6 to 7 feet deep into the ground. And then what we do is we weld a flat plate. So it's not a plate like this. And this company has different types of plates. But for my customer, it was completely flat. and we welded the feet of the container to the plate. Because many of my customers that we deliver to, they do not have accessibility for concrete trucks to get to their property, or maybe they live too far out for a concrete truck. So it's important that we can have a system like this where someone, a licensed contractor that works with this company, can go out and install something like this deep into the ground so they never have to worry about concrete columns, but they use these, and these are built to code. You just double check with the city and tell them about these columns and use this for your foundation. It's really cool. So I highly recommend looking into this. Many of our customers really like this option if you're in remote areas or if you don't want to use concrete. All right. Now, another thing I want to share with you is photos of examples. I just went on Google Images and see here, someone just did some footings around here to save on space, and they just had so they wanted support in the middle of the container and also on the ends. And so now they can put another container here and have all that concrete to help support it. This other image is the footings I told you about. So if you go back on this image here, this is the column footing. And here is another example of the column footing that is underneath this container. Now this is 40 feet. I recommend having a column footing in the middle and on the end. So you have a total of 6 column footings is important. Like here's another example of a structure with column footings. Another one with column footings. And here's another one with column footing. That's pretty high up. Um, and then here's one with stem walls, if you can see right here. They got these stem walls that they poured, and they're going to set the shipping container right on it. All right. Now let's see here. See some other. Oh yeah, here's this one. So remember the screw columns I told you about? So this guy could have some screw columns going to the ground that they can mount the container onto those plates. So other people have done that. Here's another example. They have the screw columns where they're just metal posts that go into the ground and the container's welded to those feet. So a lot of other people do that same concept. I wonder if this has the same. That does not have the same concept. This person, I believe, they just did the stem walls like this, and they're going to set their shipping containers right on top of it if that's what they're planning on. But that's a stem wall foundation. And here's another one with just footings where they put it on a plate and they welded the feet of the container to a plate. So I could go on and on, but that's basically how we've helped people. And oh, let me show you this one. They did a stem wall, and then they built this opening on the side of it so they can go into their crawl space underneath their container and access the that as well. And here's another stem wall foundation the container could be set on. Um, I'll just show you a couple more, and then I think I'll be done with the video. Um, see here. Oh, here's a great example. Here's a concrete footing, the 12-inch footing, and then you have a pad, a 3-inch concrete pad right there. So that's a really good example right there of that other photo I showed you. Okay. Um, I think that's all. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. So here's this guy just did footings right here, just square footings instead of the columns. They put that on every corner to help support it. And hopefully they put that about, 24 or whatever, how deep they need to go, 32 inches into the ground. So guys, if you have any questions, just let me know, but this is generally how I recommend you guys to put in a foundation. And then also, if you want to put screw columns into the ground, this is another amazing way to mount your container. But thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.